ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon.
Well, everyone, it's another classroom edition of the Roundtable, and I'm excited. You know, my friend, Raphael, he sends us some of the greatest upcoming singers. He represents everyone from Brian McKnight to Erica Campbell to Stephanie Mills. If you're an R&B, hip-hop, music, singer, then you are repped by my friend. And when he sent me Jovian and the album a couple weeks ago, I listened to it from beginning to end, and I got it. I get it. I get what he's trying to be. I get who he is. I get his authenticity. I get he puts his own unique stamp and stink on it. And as an artist who does a lot of cover music, I'm fascinated by people who write and can share their heart and make it art. Because I can't do it. If you give me something to write, I'm gonna rhyme, toy with boy and sad with mad, and I don't know how to do it. So when we have people who can do it, then I'm obsessed with it. So when I have the chance, even in my classroom here in Jersey, I needed to speak to Jovian. You got to listen to the album because he's going to blow up and then he's going to be everywhere. I mean, he's halftime show at the Super Bowl. You're going to wish that you listened. I'm giving you the scoop. And my album's out right now too. My album, Rewind, you could stream it on Spotify and you could check it out. And I sing diva cover songs. But look, there's a space and a place for everyone in art, right? Jovian. Welcome him to the Roundtable. So we love singers. We are obsessed with music. We are obsessed with new music. We are obsessed with albums. Why don't people love an album? I want to hear a whole entire album. Well, a couple years ago, breaking numbers and putting out music like Timothée Chalamet, which I kind of love, Jovian. I love the song. So we've been listening to his new album. He has a debut album, New York's in the House. Jovian, welcome to the Roundtable.
Hey, thank you. And thank you for referencing Timothée Chalamet. Yeah, that song is a special one.
It is a special song because your music is the perfect vibe. I was trying to describe it while we were listening to it today. It's just a vibe. I know that's cliche, but it's just a vibe.
No, for sure. I've gotten a lot of people that just say I make Jovian music.
And I know there's comparisons, and I know your voice is compared to other people, but when you really break down the structure of your music and the visualization, that's all the videos that are on YouTube, it's not compared to anything. It is, you're doing what you're doing.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, I think for me, my process is very different in that. One, I'm an actor. Like my background is acting. I went to acting school for 11 years, so I'm not even looking at making music from the frame of like, oh, this is gonna sound good and sound like this. It's more of like, what feeling am I feeling, or what stories do I want to tell? And then I create the music around that. So I am writing as an actor, one, but then two, I have this disorder. It's not really a disorder. It's called synesthesia. And essentially I don't only experience color with my eyes, I experience it with all five senses. So color is super important to me. And I think you can feel it. Even if you don't know, you feel the color in even a song like Timothée Chalamet.
Well, listen, everybody that's what, because I have these questions about what you just said, and I want to dig into it all. But while we're here, while we're talking about it, I just want everyone to know that the album is out and streaming wherever it looks like this. You can stream it wherever music is heard. Jovian AD 2000 AD. It's streaming wherever you. So if it's Spotify or Apple or Tidal or wherever you listen to music. I want people to listen to it from beginning to end. You're an actor. I went to acting school. I live for acting, and in acting school, especially in the beginning, you kind of break your heart and make it art. Get in touch with who you are and your emotions and free yourself. How has that process of being an actor helped you become a songwriter and a performer?
That's a great question. I mean, I guess especially the last 4 years of my acting schooling, I was at a conservatory in college, so at any point, not even any semester, at any point I could get kicked out. That there was no guarantee I would stay in that school. So I think for me, I have no choice but to be vulnerable, because in acting, like, it's either you're vulnerable or you get off the stage or get off of get away from the camera. So to me, I don't have those rules in my head where I'm even choosing vulnerability. It's just who I am.
Got it. So when we listen to the album, is it a character? Is it you? Are the songs based on experiences? Do you put on a kind of different personality to perform these?
No, that's a great question. I've done it all my life so much by like finding Jovian within some of these characters and some of these films or some of these plays that now I'm just so proud to just showcase me. So they're all me. They're all first person accounts.
Amazing. If you're follow Jovian on Instagram or on all socials as Jovian. If you're listening to us on the Broadway Podcast Network, New York City, here we are. So if you, what you talk about very openly in some past interviews I was reading about difficulties in your childhood, about trying to find healing and words of encouragement, was art something that you always looked to as a way to cope, as a way to survive? If it's acting, if it's music, was it just always your outlet?
Yeah. I think I'm so blessed to have been born in New York, where art is so encouraged. So for me, I've had an outlet for every kind of sensation I felt, and I think that really allowed me to not only find my footing but rely on myself for healing.
Yes.
Of being the person who shows like, hey, I'm the living proof that there's the other side to anything you feel, and the response to those sensations are always some sort of artistic outlet, never self-harm or drugs or alcohol or anything, no matter where you are. And because I've been so blessed to be in a city that allows you to explore all those things, I want to show people who live, I don't know, in South Dakota or something random, random country, a random state that doesn't have the same artistic outlets that we do, that there's a way. There's always a way.
Absolutely. And I know at the end of the year when you get your Spotify Unwrapped or whatever you get your numbers from, and you see the millions of streams that I've had and the touch that you've had around the globe.
Yeah.
I know people are healed by your music, and that has to be a crazy, overwhelming feeling.
Yeah. I think I'm just so, in a positive way, I'm just so delusional with just the way I create and the way I am as a person, that I actually forgot that people could consume my music and resonate with it as much as I do. So getting those messages or seeing the Unwrapped and seeing the YouTube numbers, the Apple Music numbers, it's beyond mind blowing, because while I'm creating, or the intention in creating, I never realized that I forgot to think about how people would respond so positively to it.
Well, I've read reviews, I've read articles about you. You make music. Some people call it R&B. Some people call it R&B infused with hip hop. You, I think, said somewhere that it's like a 70s sound but futuristic.
Yeah.
And I think that's a perfect way to put it. How do you describe what your music is?
That's a great question. If it were up to me, I feel like I should be able to make my own genre on like Apple Music, but obviously you're not allowed. So I was always calling it hip hop, because like hip hop to me is Shakespeare, it's everything. But it was pointed out, some of these playlists on Apple Music, they would reach out to me and say, hey, we can't feature you because it sounds like, since I'm pitching it as hip hop, it sounded like Jovian was the feature and the singer was a completely different person. So I learned like, oh, because I'm singing first, the industry doesn't think this is hip hop, which is silly to me. So it's classified as R&B, but I wouldn't even say it's R&B. I would just say it's like alternative art pop, I guess.
I like it. I dig it. I don't know why we have to classify it and put it in a box.
For sure. But I get it. I get that it's easier for people to access and to digest. So I would say for me, especially this album, it was directly inspired by, I'm really fascinated by sci-fi films. And I love the idea of like how wrong they depicted our future. So I decided like, what would that future have sounded like had that future been a thing? So that's where Jovian 2000 AD came from.
It's fire. It's from beginning to end. It is fire. It's perfect for all the moods. While we have you here, we'll go through some of the singles and just talk about them so that people can check them out. Give me emotion, give me the ocean. I love this song.
Thank you.
What is your process? What is your process about writing? How do you keep a notepad? Are you singing into your phone? Do ideas just come to you? Do you play around in the studio? How do these babies come to life?
Great question. I would say in general, the way they usually come is I'll make the instrumental with one of my producers, especially based off of a feeling I'm feeling or a color I'm feeling. And instantly I'll be able to freestyle and know whether it's in a mic or into my voice memos, and know like where the rap would be, if there is rap, where the singing would be, all that stuff. And yeah, just it comes to me based off of how I was feeling to create the production. The lyrics and the vocals are the same way, just telling that story, that color.
A lot has been said. Hip hop celebrating 50 years of hip hop
Yeah.
this year, and you as an artist was able to do that and add that in pieces as well. You are everyone listening and watching at home. That's like you just said. You're not the same. You're not singing the hook. You are singing the hook and the verse and the hip hop interlude and the whole thing. It's Jovian featuring Jovian.
Always.
Always. So let's take a peek at some of the other songs, like "I'm Ready," another number banger on this album. What is this song? Can you tell us a little bit about it and the visuals that go along with it as well?
Yeah, I would say with that song, that's it was a really challenging one for me because it came from the line. Like the first line I wrote for that song was, "Who are you staring at while you undress?" So it's this whole idea of like this person that I'm just, and I say idea, it's personal, of course, but I like to give it for the audience to, also resonate with this idea of just like someone you are crazy about and things just haven't worked out just yet. Like it didn't happen yet. And just wondering like, okay, when you're not texting me, like who are you texting or who's making you giggle or who's in front of you right now? And like, why isn't it me? So that came from that. And just the whole idea of like, hey, especially with being young and being new to life and new to love, commitment and vulnerability can be so scary. But if you ask me, I'm ready.
Ooh, I think we've all been there.
Yeah.
I think I'm old, but for you youngsters, I think that a lot of the themes that you go through the album, it's love, heartbreak, questioning, it's universal. So no matter how you are and where you are in your own life and relationships, there's something for you.
Yeah.
What makes you write a song called Laser Discs?
So the way when I made the production of that song, especially with the beat switch, the color of that song, which is that cover art you just showed, Laserdisc captures that color for me. So sometimes for me, especially because I have an acting background, I don't care if the song's title doesn't like the words don't come up in the song, or even if they do, I love the idea of song titles not being in the chorus. Sometimes it needs to be like "I'm ready," like that just makes sense, especially just marketing wise. But Laserdisc, those two words are just so capturing to me, and they make me feel so happy, and it captures the same color and emotion that the song has. So I just called it Laserdisc.
I love it. I'm here for the whole thing. You talked about being able to see, hear colors and see colors and feel, taste colors. I've heard, the only other person that I could think of that I'd heard talk about like this was Stevie Wonder, and talking about, he sees colors in his music. And is it something that is distracting? Has it helped with your art? Do you find it as a gift, a curse?
Great question. It used to be distracting because at first I thought everyone felt it and everyone had it. Like I didn't think it was a thing, which is why I call it a disorder, because it's not. But once I discovered that like less than 1% of people have it, I started to realize why certain things are distracting. Like say I'm driving and music is playing and then someone's playing something off their phone. I was always curious why I would take it so personal, And I think that's like a common thing in my life. Like I take a lot of things personal that most people wouldn't. And I realized, it's because like that color that's coming out of that speaker is clashing with the color from my car radio. And it would be very distracting. And I think now that I understand it, I'm a lot better at it. And now I use it, of course, artistically, and I use it to my advantage all the time.
Well, there's definitely colors throughout this, even if we can't see them.
Yeah.
And I think another word to describe this album is it's very intimate. It feels very personal. It feels like you're singing to us through the speaker, and it feels like what you're it's the actor. It's the actor in him. It just comes across like you are having a quiet conversation with someone you care about or trying to express something. Is your vibe in the studio, do you have to set things up a certain way so that you really create that kind of close, intimate style, or is that just the way you are?
That's a great question. I would say the only part of an intimacy sort of vibe I have in the studio that it's just me and my engineer. Or if I'm in the studio making the beats, just me and my producer. I don't have guests. I'm not into that. Even though hip hop is my life, hip hop is very infamous for having like a lot of people in the studio, which is dope for those people. But for me, I just want it one-on-one, essentially with myself, and then an engineer or producer is just there kind of bringing it to life. But yeah, I think that the vulnerability, of course, comes from, me as an actor. But also I'm just fascinated by Shakespeare and how in his plays, sometimes the characters would be aware that they're in a play and then say to the audience that they're in a play and say things. And it's in the play, but it's not part of the play. No other character can hear him say that except for the audience. So that's why I say, even in a song like Timothy Chalamet, I say, I mean, I'm really bad at reciting my own lyrics, but say something along the lines of like, I wish you were a deer so I can run you over with my Tesla, and probably cheer. And then I follow that up by saying, by, oh my, like I didn't mean for that to come out of my mouth. Because I love this idea of like saying some of the crazy things that we think of as humans, being aware that that's something that's crazy, and being like, oh, like, I didn't mean for that to come out, but we all think this.
Yeah. I love it. It's that you breaking the fourth wall and
Yes.
letting the audience in on our inner thoughts is it's a great trick in theater. It's a great trick in the music as well.
Yeah.
You have another love of your life you talk about is astronomy. And I am someone who feels like we're all made of the stars. We're star stuff. We are all connected in some way. When did that love come into it? And how does all of this tie together? How is the acting, the singing, the colors, the stars? How does this make up who you are as a person and an artist?
That's a great question. I would say it's kind of like the music where I don't know where it started. It's kind of like breathing. It's just there. I don't know if I love Star Wars and that's why I love astronomy, or vice versa. But I would say, for as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to be a star traveler. And like, I was just born like way too early. So I think art, but specifically music, is like the next best thing to be able to, sonically travel to these places I've wanted to. And I think that's just my whole fascination with just being able to travel to different planets and experiencing, whether it's different creatures or aliens or different habitats. I love that idea of exploration of the unknown. And since I can't do it, it was heartbreaking for me for a while as a kid, but then realizing I can do it through music is just the next best thing. And I think that's where that comes from.
That's it. Now we're just ready for you to be a big old star, and we're ready for that's it. When your words are inspiring. If you look him up, read about what he says about there was no other choice. It was going to be to make it life as an artist. And if you're out there and you have that disease and curse and gift, that's all of those things, then you have nothing else to do. Read the story, listen to the music, because it's incredibly inspiring. I want to have like a drink, and I want to vibe to I want a live Jovian show. I'm ready for it.
That'd be amazing.
I'm ready.
That's actually the song I open up with. I'm ready.
A great song, another great song. So we'll be on the lookout. Everyone, you need to be streaming the album wherever the album is. Go on Instagram right now and follow, and make sure that you stream Jovian 2000 AD wherever music is heard. Give it a share, give it a listen, and we're rooting and we're cheering and we're ready for all the what's next and for your climb. We're here for it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
How great is that? Talents to act, to write, to sing, to be a creative voice and force and visionary. And breaking in the music business is not easy. So to get millions and millions of streams, and then to come out swinging and to create art and music videos in 2023 where everything is against you, and not have the discouragement or the rejection stop you, is inspiration for each and every one of us. So make sure you listen to the album, follow along wherever you listen to your music, and follow us right here on the Broadway Podcast Network and on the YouTube show. Every Thursday night, we are live as can be at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific over on YouTube. And you can also always check us out on the Broadway Podcast Network. Listen, our friends are here. They have shows on the Broadway Podcast Network all the time. It's not just Broadway, it's entertainment, it's pop culture, and you need to just check us out. You can follow me at Robert M. Bannon, or you can follow me at The Roundtable with Robert Bannon, and go to robertbannon.com to see me live in New York this December, to see me and my music, to just be a part of it. I'm so grateful to be here with you. The best is always yet to come, and I'll see you next time right here on The Roundtable. Goodbye, everybody.